Hello, everybody. My name is Terrance Patterson. I'm the production coordinator for Free Spirit West.
Hello, everyone. I'm Ricardo Segura, and I'm the production coordinator from Free Spirit South.
Today, we're going to be going over framing and composition and editing. So we're going to start off with a quick PowerPoint in which Ricardo is going to present. And then after he's done going over framing and composition, I'm going to go over a little bit of editing with you all.
All right, everyone. So like Terrance said, we're going to be going over framing and composition as well as editing. So we're going to get right into framing. So what is framing? So framing is the placement and position of a subject in your shot. And it's all shot that are all about composition. Rather than pointing the camera at the subject, you need to compose an image. So framing is definitely something important that you want to take in consideration when you're creating some sort of media piece. You want stuff to be kind of placed well symmetric in a scene. So you want to ensure that there's enough space in between individuals, characters, and what you're going to be focusing on in the shot. Are we going to be focusing on one person? Are we going to be focusing on an object, a crowd, a conversation that's going on between people? So that's definitely something you want to take in consideration when you're when you're actually framing for a shot. So I'm gonna go through a quick little demonstration of what are some frames that you can kind of consider. So looking at box number 1, it's the single shot. Usually kind of considered maybe when we're tracking like one person, or one person is going to be the main character of the scene. Possibly a 2 shot for a second box, usually kind of seen with the conversation maybe between 2 individuals. And we're trying to capture both of their kind of set moods and emotions at the same time. Looking at box number 3, the 3 shot, usually kind of seeing maybe like a little group together. They can kind of be seen together, like with with the 4 shot and the 3 shot, kind of seeing how there's like a group of people kind of being focused on in a scene. So maybe there's like a discussion between a group of friends and whatnot. When looking at the 5th shot, the 5 shot, usually kind of seeing like maybe there's like a leader kind of discussing out to a group in that kind of instance. And then the crowd shot, maybe there's kind of like maybe there's like a superhero kind of theme that you kind of have going on, and maybe you kind of want to have like a little crowd reaction to your scene. So that's definitely something to kind of consider with framing. Number 7, an OTS, or most known as over the shoulder, usually kind of seen when there's a kind of conversation going on between people. So that's kind of getting kind of like perspective from both the individuals when they're kind of speaking. POV for the 8th shot, or point of view, usually this can kind of be seen when we're kind of focusing on one individual. So maybe someone's kind of looking through maybe a camera, or maybe in this kind of instance you kind of see like binoculars. So maybe we're kind of focusing on one person. And then the last shot is the insert shot. So kind of focusing on maybe someone grabbing onto a handle, or kind of focusing on a specific kind of object in that kind of instance. For the most part, we will be focusing on the single shot today, as you'll kind of see in the editing phase. But for the most part, Can you hear my dogs?
You're fine.
Done. All right, so one shot that we will be kind of focusing on today is the single shot, which you'll kind of see in the editing phase. But for the most part, some that I kind of feel that are most common are the single, the 2 shot, possibly the 3 shot, and the OTS, when we're kind of covering like a conversation between people. So those are some of the ones that you can kind of think about when you're kind of creating your own kind of media pieces. So kind of going into composition, you definitely want to consider, it kind of refers to the way of elements of a scene are arranged in the camera frame. Shot composition refers to the arrangement of individuals and the visual element to convey an intended message. You also want to think about like size. And kind of relationships and balance. So when we're kind of thinking about size, you want to see what's going to be having the importance in the scene. So maybe someone's kind of reaching for maybe a key, and maybe the key in that kind of shot is kind of looking enlarged. So it's kind of like the main kind of focal point in a scene. Maybe in a relation, when we're looking at relationships, maybe we have two people in a scene, and you kind of want to focus them where maybe we're kind of focusing with a medium shot, kind of seeing both individuals kind of maybe approaching each other, getting ready for an interaction between the two. And then just having balance. If there is kind of a conversation between two people, just ensuring that there's a person on the left side and the right side, you know, ensuring that we're able to see the individual's face, and just raw emotion going on in the scene. Overall, most important. So one thing to kind of consider in kind of composition is the idea of rule of thirds. The rule of thirds is one of the most common camera framing techniques used in film or photography. It's about positioning a character to show the relationship to the elements in the scene. So it's kind of like a rule of thirds is kind of to help kind of create like a well balance and kind of make shots interesting. And for the most part, you can actually activate this in your cellular devices. Every kind of camera phone has this rule of thirds built into your camera phones. Okay, so a quick example is you can kind of see that there's two lines going horizontally and two lines going vertically with four intersecting lines, as you can kind of see here. So there's four intersecting points. So these four intersecting points are just points in the images where your eye just naturally kind of gravitates to in any particular image. When you kind of see, when I went to this image, you can kind of see that right away we kind of go directly to the chef on the right side, kind of seeing his facial expressions. And kind of looking on the left side, we're kind of seeing just the other chef's smaller head, but also kind of seeing like his raw emotions, as you can kind of see that in each kind of intersecting point on this image, there's some kind of action going on in the scene. So that's definitely something to kind of think about when you're creating your own media pieces, activating that rule of thirds and ensuring that there's something going on possibly on one of these intersecting lines. All right, and some other things to kind of think about when you're kind of looking at bringing a piece to life or a media piece to life is definitely incorporating some camera shots and bringing them to life. And just adding some vibrance into your media pieces, giving people a different kind of perspective. And that's just incorporating some different camera shots. So some that we're gonna be going over today are a wide shot, a close-up, medium shot, and extreme close-up. So yeah, so kind of going into a wide shot or a WS, which you'll kind of see like film scripts. So a wide shot typically shows the entire object or individual figure. This is usually intended to add an idea of what's happening or surrounding the character. So in this kind of instance, you kind of see the wide shot here is capturing the Pirates of the Caribbean pirate kind of running away from the crowd behind him. In the wide shot, we're capturing everything from head to toe, as well as capturing what's going on in the background. And what's going on in the background is him getting chased. So this is a wide shot capturing everything that's going on in the scene. The next kind of shot that we're kind of going over is a close-up or a CU. So a close-up shot usually fills the screen with part of the subject, usually the person's face giving off emotion in the scene. So you kind of see in this kind of instance, we're not seeing any of Tony Stark's body from Iron Man, but at the moment we're only seeing his face. And in this kind of scene, we're kind of seeing that Tony's looking a little distraught, a little nervous, and given that is just based on his eye, and his eyes that's kind of giving off the emotion in the scene. So that's kind of when you'll kind of use a close-up shot. Maybe You want the audience to feel some sort of reaction, and kind of understand what's going through the character's mind at the moment. So yeah. So for a medium shot, this is usually a frame where it captures the person's waist and up. So you can kind of see from Hunger Games, Katniss here, we kind of have the shot set up where we're capturing her waist all the way up to her boat. So in this kind of scene, it's kind of setting up like an action scene, not giving too much away of what's going around in her surrounding area. Definitely kind of seeing kind of the form that's going on in this instance. And I think for the most part, we wouldn't use it can be somewhat debated with the wide shot, but at the moment, the action that's going on is the bow and Katniss's form. So that's something to kind of think about when you're gonna use medium and the wide shot. And then the last shot that I have for you all today is the extreme close-up. So the extreme close-up emphasizes a small area or detail of the subject. Usually kind of focuses on some sort of raw emotion as well, kind of focusing on a main kind of focal point. So you kind of see in the Avatar movie, we kind of focus on the eye right here. And this can kind of vary. So maybe you're kind of, for another kind of instance, maybe you're kind of having someone enter a key into a keyhole. Maybe we have an extreme close-up of the keyhole and kind of having the person insert a key in that kind of instance. So definitely kind of varies on how you want to use an extreme close-up. Maybe we have somebody in an emotional scene where someone's crying. Maybe we have an extreme close-up of the person's eye, having a tear roll down the face. And then kind of varies on how you want to incorporate this, giving off emotion to the audience. And I think definitely kind of incorporating these four types of camera shots will definitely liven up your pieces and whatnot, giving the audience different kind of perspectives on how they kind of see your characters, as well as just not making your shots overall boring. So that's definitely something to take into consideration.
Thank you,
Okay.
Ricardo.
Thank you, Terrance.
All right, everybody. Hello, my name is Terrance Patterson again, and I'm going to be going over the editing portion of this workshop. So let's start off. First, I'm going to start off with basic software that's free that everybody could download themselves from their cell phone or from their computer. And then I'm going to go over, probably touch on a little bit of Adobe Premiere, which is a software that's a little bit better. However, a lot of people don't have it on their computer because it's a little bit more expensive. So let's start off with Adobe Rush. I'm gonna type it in on my little magnifying glass here. And as you can see, as we pull up Adobe Rush, its icon is like a little purple RU, which is similar to the Premiere logo icon, which I will show you later. However, let's double click on that. Okay, sometimes this thing takes a little while to load, so please be patient. Okay, now what we're gonna do is go to create new project. And for the sake of this project, we're gonna go to sample media. However, if you wanted to upload videos from your computer, you find the files on your computer. So you go to downloads or your documents or your movies. But for this, for the sake of this workshop, we're gonna do sample media. And these sample media pieces can be found as soon as you download Adobe Rush, so you can practice with the same sample media that I'm practicing with if you want to. Then what you're gonna do is title your project on the bottom left-hand side of the screen here. So we're gonna title this Framing Comp, okay? And then we're gonna select the media pieces that we want. We're gonna select that one that looks like a pretty good shot, this one with them on the beach, and then a little overhead view. And we're gonna do another one. This looks like a wide shot. And then we're gonna do For audio, we're going to select this. Then we're going to hit create. Now give it a second as it prepares your media and places it on a timeline. All right, so here you see everything I just clicked, it inserted it right here on my timeline. All of the media pieces. So let's go through and see what we have really quickly.
Good morning, Philippines.
Okay. All right. So right here, I have this beautiful opening beginning shot, which I want to leave, and I want to keep it in this order. However, I want to add a title to it, something to go in front of it and make it stand out. So I'm going to go over here to the right-hand side, and I'm going to click this little T button, which stands for titles. Again, everyone, please be patient with this software because it takes a little while to load sometimes, and just patience is a virtue. All right, so as we get that pulled up, you're going to click what type of title you want. I'm going to minimize this for a second. You're going to click on what type of title you want. They have like a basic lower thirds. They have a basic title on background, all different types of titles. So you can scroll through and best pick the one that you want for your project. However, for this project, I'm just going to use the basic default title. And I'm going to drag it and I'm going to put it right in front of it. So as you can see, as this is highlighted, this little highlighted part, if I want this, my title to be longer, I would stretch it out going to the left, or to make it smaller, I'll just click it and shrink it inside. Or if I wanted the title to even go on top and play while this was going, which I think I'm going to do because I like that and it looks better. So now I'm going to put that on top above my clip, my opening clip, and I'm going to double click it, and I'm going to look over here to on my top right hand corner, and it's giving me options to edit it. So if I wanted to change the font, I could do that right here. If I wanted to change the color, the size, everything, you could do all of that right here. So I'm going to title this Our Trip. And let's see how that turns out. Okay, I want that to go a little bit longer, so I'm going to stretch it out. Okay, perfect.
Good morning.
Okay. Now, the next thing I'm going to show you really quickly, I want this to kind of blend in and fade right here. I want to transition. So your transitions can be found also underneath the title, the little title icon right here. And all you have to do is click it, and all the transitions that they have pop up. The most common transition is this transition right here, is the cross dissolve. So I'm going to click this and I'm going to drag it over here in between my clips. Okay, and it added, and now I'm going to play it and see if that's what I want.
Good morning, Philippines.
That's exactly what I wanted. So that works. So just remember, whenever you want to transition, you click this right here. This is the little transition tab. And it also gives you tutorials. One thing I like about Adobe Premiere Rush is it also gives you tutorials to show you how to insert these things also if you're not familiar with it. Okay. Now let's say, for instance, I wanted to mess around with the audio or something. If you want to enlarge in the audio, I'll press this little button right here. This means expand audio. So right now I want to kind of click on my audio, and right when this guy starts to talk and they go into their little selfie phase, this is a great example of rule of thirds also, because if you imagine a grid line, it lines up and follows with the rule of thirds. Just imagine a grid right here and everything is perfect. So let's say, for instance, I wanted this music to get lower as as he starts to talk, as they start to talk, as their audio comes in. So what I'm gonna do is, I got the clip highlighted, the audio clip highlighted, and I'm gonna, right before he starts talking, right about here, I'm gonna click my scissor icon to cut this, to split. Or you could also hit S, as they're telling you right here. I wanna split that. And then I'm gonna come here and double click this audio. And when I double click it, I'm gonna look at my right-hand side, and it automatically takes me to my audio, my editing audio tab. And I'm gonna turn down this clip's volume right here. And just turn that down a little bit and see while they talk.
Good morning, Philippines.
That works.
Guess what we're gonna go to again? Snorkel!
So today is day 1 in El Nido. And this is one of the places when you put in Philippines in Google or in YouTube, you're just gonna see a bunch of videos and pictures of blue water, big rocks and stuff. That's where we are.
Okay, so right there, here's another clip. It's a separate clip, and I kind of wanted to transition over in there. I don't want the audio for this, so let's see. So yeah, this is the audio tab right here. If you want to edit your audio, here's the color tab. If you want to mess around with the color and then say you want to add some extra color to this, you'll click it. So say you'll click it. Once the film is clicked on, you could just double click this. And I kind of like that effect, so I'll leave it there. And it's all type of things you could do. You could play around with it. Just that's what's actually best, to play around with everything to see what works for your film. So we're just gonna play around with the different color effects and things in that nature. But I kind of like that film one best. So from here, I could just go and do whatever I want. I could continue to add like different clips right here and turn my audio back up if I wanted to. Otherwise, I could just leave it alone. Add an ending clip right here, an ending title. It's all up to you. I just wanted to show you all the basics on what to do when editing, and that pretty much is everything on here. This is the basics of editing on Adobe Rush. Again, just remember your split tool. This little icon right here on the bottom left-hand corner is the duplicate tool. So say for instance, I just deleted that, but if I wanted to duplicate this video clip, I would just hit duplicate and it duplicates right on my timeline, which works. Or if I want to throw something in the trash, this is the trash can. If you ever want to undo anything, you click here, right here on edit, and then undo. It's the equivalent of doing Command Z on an iMac. And yeah, just remember all of your tabs on this side, the titles tab, your transitions tab, then your color tab, audio tab, and then cropping tab. As long as you know these basics, you're good. So I hope I was able to help you all figure out how to use Adobe Rush, Adobe Premiere Rush. Right now, I'll go over Adobe Premiere for those of you who have access to Adobe Premiere. Adobe Premiere is this little icon right here. It's Adobe Premiere Pro CC 2019. I'm gonna double click it right here. It's the little PR. You see they both resemble each other, the Adobe Premiere Rush icon and Adobe Premiere Pro icon. So I just double clicked on Premiere Pro. All right, let me see how I'm doing with time. Okay. Well, I'm just gonna touch, due to the sake of time, I'm just gonna touch bases on a couple little things on Adobe Premiere Pro. So basically it's the same thing. You click new project, you title it, final comp, we're gonna title it the same thing. Make sure all of your settings are pretty much the same and how you want them. So this is pretty much how I set mine up. And then you just hit OK. Now, I know Adobe Premiere looks a little bit more complicated. However, I promise once you have the hang of it, it's not complicated at all. This is your multi-source monitor. This is where your media goes right here. And this right here is your timeline. Okay, so first things first, we're going to import some media. So I have a framing and composition practice videos folder already set up. When you're editing, it's important to remember to keep all of your videos that you're going to be working on in one folder. Your videos, your audios, your voiceovers. Try to keep everything in one folder so nothing gets misplaced, because the computer has a hard time of keeping up with things sometimes. And if you have things scattered, a video in here, video over here, then Adobe Premiere will not be able to find your video, one of your videos, and then it'll pop up as error. It's just something you don't want to go through. So I'm going to import all of these videos that we have recorded earlier. Just a couple sequence shots of just waking up. However, for time purposes, we're not going to get into all of them. However, I am going to show you how to upload something to the timeline. So here is your preview window right here. So this is actually just previewing your shot before you post it. Okay, basically. So it's, say for instance, I want this shot of this lady putting on her slippers. This is my grandmother, by the way. My grandmother putting on her slippers, and say I just wanted that. I'm gonna drag this, and I want the video only. If I wanted both the video and the audio, I would drag the whole thing and put it in my timeline, just like that. And it'll put it there. However, if I only wanted the video, I'll click this, drag video only, and put it right here on my timeline. Everything on the right side, right here, is what's final and what's gonna be shown. So remember, the left side is pretty much the preview of this over here. The right side is the final side, okay? So, and make sure you pay attention to these tabs up here. This is the editing tab, this is the color tab. Same thing, similar to Adobe Premiere Rush. However, it's just a little bit different. This is your effects tab. So whenever it's time for you to add effects to your videos and stuff, you just click on these tabs. It's pretty self-explanatory. Also with Adobe Premiere Pro, it's a little bit longer as far as loading, because it's so much more things you could do in here. And I know I'm pretty much out of time. However, one quick thing, I showed you all how to Okay. So a couple quick things, really quick. Let's get back to editing. So all of my videos is located right here. Say for instance, I want to slow this down. I would do right click it and do speed and duration. Slow that down 50%. And you see how it expands this gets longer. I can add audio, same way you import a video, file, import, and go to my downloads because I just downloaded. Okay. So say for instance, I wanted to put that there. Also on here, it's easier. You could drag videos on top of each other. And it's the same thing you do in Adobe Premiere Rush. So I just wanted to show you all the basics. I know we're out of time and I really want to go over a lot more things. However, there's so many things you could do in Adobe Premiere within the whole suite. Hopefully I'll have time, me and Ricardo will have time, and we'll go over some more things as far as editing and framing composition, and probably another workshop. But thank you for tuning in on behalf of Free Spirit Media, and we thank you for listening.